Hello and welcome to God Talk Life Walk, and I'm going to start something a little bit on a different track. I'm going to continue to do my kind of through the Bible readings and that sort of thing, but what I want to do also is to deal with some doctrines, and don't be afraid of that word. Different truths about that we find in the Word of God, perhaps. And what I'll do is I'll continue to do my through the Bible, posting them on Thursday, Friday, toward the end of the week, and then I'll post the doctrinal ones Monday or Tuesday. So there's a little bit of separation there, just to give you something different, and a little bit of variety there. And what I want to start with today is we'll start on the doctrine of the Bible. And one aspect of the doctrine of the Bible is because the Bible is revelation. So we'll deal with the general topic of revelation, because there's an aspect of revelation that does not deal with the Bible. And that's what we're going to get into today. Now, we are finite, limited mortals, and God is infinite deity. Our efforts to find God are futile. That's why we need God to reveal himself to us, and thus his revelation to us. So there's two ways that God reveals two general ways that God reveals himself to us. The first way is the topic of our time together. All we need to do is to look around us to know of God, not to know God, but to know of God. And we call this God's general revelation. General revelation is it's his self-manifestation through his creation, the earth, the sun, the expanse of the universe. It also includes the most minute particles known to man, and perhaps some still yet to be discovered. General revelation also involves the soul of man, an aspect of our soul. No matter how much people try to convince themselves that God does not exist, the soul knows that he does. And our soul is troubled until we come to know personally our Creator God. Augustine wrote some 1,600 years ago this, and I love this quote: "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you." As we look at creation, we can't help but be awestruck, first by its immensity. I read this condensed statement regarding the vastness of our universe and the role each piece plays in the interrelationship of all of the heavenly bodies. Here's the quote: "The universe maintains its structure through a complex interplay of fundamental forces, primarily gravity, which pulls matter into stars, galaxies, and the cosmic web, while dark matter provides extra gravitational glue, counteracting the expansion driven by dark energy, creating a dynamic, self-regulating system." Now, don't ask me to explain every aspect of that, because number one, that's not my point. Number two, I couldn't explain every aspect of it. But the gist of it is that the planet Earth's ability to sustain life is not just based on our delicate position in our solar system. For instance, if we are described, scientists call our position in our solar system the Goldilocks effect. That means that if we move just a little bit closer to the sun, we'd burn up if we move just a little bit away from the sun, we would freeze or come close to it. We wouldn't be able to survive, in other words. But our life is not, and our Goldilocks position is not just based on the effects of the planet of our sun and the gravitational pull of our sun and how we relate to the other planets in our solar system, but its position in all the universe. Scripture testifies that all of this is created by and upheld by God. In fact, in the Gospel of John, John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, the Word is Christ, the Son of God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and apart from him, nothing came into being that has come into being. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. Okay, so that's Christ. The Son of God was the agent for the creation. Now, again, we'll talk about the triune Godhead at another time. Then in Colossians chapter 1, verse 17, we read, He, that is Christ, is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 3. And he is, Christ, is the radiance of his glory, of the glory of God, and the exact representation of his nature, and upholds all things by the word of his power. So all this universe is upheld by God. That's why we can have life on this planet. Not only the immensity of the universe testifies to the glory of God, but also the microscopic study of Earth's minute particles and organisms, along with the study of the anatomical structure of the human body and other animals, really, for that matter. And that causes us to wonder at our Creator and just how all of our organs work together, normally speaking. They work together and they form such a call it an orchestra to keep everything running like it should, to give us life, to keep our brain thinking and all of that. Just the study of how the eye works is amazing. To think that all of these entities came into existence due to some sort of evolutionary event or series of events really is evidence of a seared conscience. I have two passages that I want to read. The one talks about how creation testifies to the glory of God, and the other one talks about how, even though it does, our sinful nature is seared and wants to deny God, basically. In Psalm 19, 1 through 6, it reads, The heavens are telling of the glory of God, and their expanse is declaring the work of his hands. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words. Their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their utterances to the end of the world. In them he has placed a tent for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber. It rejoices as a strong man to run his course. Its rising is from one end of the heavens, and its circuit to the other end of them. And there is nothing hidden from its heat. But then in Romans chapter 1, verses 18 through 20, we read, For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and the unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which is known about God is evident within them, for God has made it evident to them. Their soul knows. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made. so that they are without excuse. No person is going to be able to stand before God and say, I didn't know that you existed, because God has given general revelation to let us know that he does exist. So we know we can know of God, and that's where God's revelation starts. The mind of man also testifies to the existence of God and the fact that we can know of him. Intellectually, mankind excels in our achievements. Considering the monumental mental achievements of the mind, it's fantasy to think that all this came about and even developed by chance. It's more reasonable and logical to believe that we were created this way. Even the basest of creatures operate with a level of intelligence, instinct, or design of an all-knowing creator. The moral nature of man also testifies to the existence of the omni-God. We constantly make judgments regarding right and wrong. This sense of morality doesn't always align with what God deems is right and wrong, but that's just because of our fallen nature, which we'll look at more in depth at a later time when we learn about the nature of man. The point is that we make moral choices all the time of good and bad. We're not just operating off of instinct. And only being created in the image of God, being image bearers, would we be able to do that. So our sense of awareness of one much greater than ourselves testifies to not only the existence of God, that we possess a sense of deity, we know of God, but also a God who can be known. And though we turned away from him, beginning with Adam, there remains a longing for one who is beyond ourselves. Even if we don't know who he is, we still long for, we still know that there's somebody there. A simple cell organism evolving into a more complex creature, if that were possible, would be incapable of such longings. Think about it. Our capacity to do so comes from the fact that we were created for such a relationship. And although God created Adam from the ground, he created him immediately and breathed into him the breath of life. He breathed into the other animals the breath of life as well. But what was distinct with Adam is he created Adam, and thus we were created in the image of God. We are God's image bearers. And so this characteristic passed on to all of Adam's posterity. And I got to close my curtains. All right, the glow. So getting back, so general revelation, that's what we're talking about. It witnesses much about God, but it does have a key limitation. General revelation can teach us about some characteristics about God. For instance, it can teach us that he is all-powerful. To create all this, he'd have to be all-powerful, all-knowing, all-wise to a limited extent. It could even tell us that he is loving and caring as we observe this world around us that produces substances necessary for our survival. But that's about all general revelation can show us. What we primarily need to know, and what by creative design we long for, is to know him personally. To not just know of God, but to know God. And to be able to have a personal relationship with our Creator God. And we're going to look at that in our next video. So I encourage you to tune in next week as we talk about special revelation. Just a reminder, if you want to support this channel, there are links in the description that will aid in the printing and worldwide distribution of the good news of Jesus Christ. Until the next time, together, thank you especially for your prayers, and may the Lord bless you.